Aditya L1, India successfully launched its first mission to the Sun. India launched its first solar observation mission days after creating history by becoming the first country to land near the Moon's south pole. Aditya L1 took off from the airport in Sriharikota at 11:50 IST, 6:20 GMT, on Saturday. It will pass 1.5 million km, 932,000 miles, from Earth, 1% of the Earth-Sun distance. The Indian Space Agency said it would take 4 months to reach the country. India's first space-based mission to study the largest object in the solar system is named after Surya, the Indian sun god, also known as Aditya. And L1 stands for Lagrange point 1, the exact position of the Indian spacecraft between the Sun and the Earth. According to the European Space Agency, the Lagrange point is where the gravitational force of two large bodies, such as the Sun and the Earth, cancel each other out, so that the spacecraft rotates. Once Aditya L1 reaches this parking spot, it will be able to orbit the Sun at the same speed as the Earth. This means that the satellite will require very little fuel to operate. On Saturday morning, several thousand people gathered at a viewing gallery set up by the Indian Space Research Organisation (ISRO) near the airport. Also, live commentators on national television described it as a fantastic start. ISRO scientists said the flight was a success and a normal performance. After a flight time of 1 hour and 4 minutes, ISRO declared it a successful mission. He will now continue his journey, a very long journey of 135 days, so let's hope for the best, said ISRO Chief Sriharikota Somnath. Project Director Nigar Shaji said that when Aditya L1 achieves its goal, it will benefit not only India but also the global scientific community. Aditya L1 will now orbit the Earth several times before flying towards L1. From this vantage point, even if it is hidden during the eclipse, he can always observe the Sun and conduct scientific research. ISRO has not said how much the mission will cost, but Indian media reports put the cost at 3.78 billion rupees, $46 million, 36 million pounds. ISRO said that the orbiter has 7 science instruments that will observe and study the solar corona, outer layer, photosphere, the surface of the Sun, or the part we see from Earth, and chromosphere, a thin layer of plasma between the photosphere and the corona. The research will help scientists understand solar activity, such as the solar wind and solar radiation, and their effects over time on Earth and in space. Former ISRO scientist Swami Annadure said that the Sun is constantly influencing Earth's climate through radiation, heat and particle flux and magnetic field. At the same time, he said, it also affects space weather. Space weather plays an important role in how the satellite works. Solar wind or storms can affect the electronics in the satellite and even knock out the power grids. But there is a gap in our knowledge about space weather, said Annadure BBC. India has more than 50 satellites in space and they provide the country with many important services such as communication links, weather information and help in predicting pest infestations, droughts and future disasters. According to the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, UNOSA, about 10,290 satellites remain in Earth orbit, and about 7,800 are currently in operation. Aditya will help us better understand the stars on which our lives depend and give early warning, said Mr. Annadure. Knowing what the Sun has done a few days before, like the wind or the Sun, will help protect our satellites from damage. This will help increase the longevity of our satellites in space. The mission will primarily help improve our scientific understanding of the Sun, the 4.5 billion-year-old star that holds our solar system together, he said. India's solar mission comes days after the world's first test near the Moon's south pole. With this, India became the 4th country in the world to achieve a soft landing on the Moon, after the United States, the former Soviet Union and China. If Aditya L1 is successful, India will join a select group of countries studying the Sun. Japan first launched a mission to study the Sun in 1981, and NASA and the European Space Agency (ESA) have been observing the Sun since the 1990s. In February 2020, NASA and ESA jointly launched the Solar Orbiter, which will study the Sun's surroundings and help understand what drives the Sun probe. In 2021, NASA's newest spacecraft, the Parker Solar Probe, will make history by becoming the first to fly through the corona into the outer atmosphere.